pretty cool trick. Speaking of boobs. I did want to mention too, before we talk about that, did you guys see who's going to be the new host of Wheel of Fortune? Wheel of Fortune guy?
Is it really?
Now, see, we just talked about this. You probably don't even know Wheel of Fortune that well. You don't know the network stuff like I do. You know Wheel of Fortune though, right?
Well, of course I know Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune comes on right before Jeopardy.
Well, they flipped it here for some reason. I'll never understand why they did that. Here, I don't know if they still have it that way. It used to be, like you said, it was Wheel of Fortune, it was local news, then Wheel of Fortune, then Jeopardy, right?
Yeah, it was always the show for dummies first, then the show for smarty second.
Right. No, for whatever reason, they flipped it here at one point. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if they've changed it back or not. But yeah, they did change it at one point. It was very stupid. But yeah, so Pat Sajak, he retired. He's out.
Yep.
And
he's
now,
getting ready to retire. He hasn't retired yet, right? Like he's still got the rest of the season, like through the summer or something.
Yeah, I think they've decided who the actual replacement will be because Pat's finishing up his run there with Vanna. And
there was a bunch of people that had their hat in the ring, like LeVar Burton, right?
I think he was Jeopardy. He was Jeopardy.
Yeah, but he still threw his name in the hat for this one too, I think.
Boy, he's trying hard. Just go be Geordie LaForge, man. You were made for Star Trek Next Generation. Just be the blind engineer, okay? It's what we all know you love and love you from. But no. So you didn't hear who it's going to be?
No.
Oh, the man with 8 billion jobs.
Oh, it is him.
Ryan Seacrest. Yep. You don't like Seacrest?
No.
How can anybody dislike Ryan Seacrest? He's so gregarious.
Works real hard. He's just he just
too much of him.
Across as so fake.
Oh, I think he's just such a polished.
Yeah,
host.
That's what I mean. He's too polished. I don't know.
Maybe he'll be a little bit
too much disgusting comedy or to enjoy the things that are too polished and way too politically correct.
Maybe he'll be a little bit looser on this show than he is on other shows because it's, like you said, it's a show for dummies almost. Like everybody knows that Wheel of Fortune's kind of like, and Pat, do you think Pat may be going through a little bit, like maybe he's got dementia or something? Because he was doing some weird stuff for a minute towards the end of his run. Do you see any of the stuff he was doing, or he was like?
I haven't. I can't tell you the last time I watched the show.
Well, I haven't really watched it either, but I just remember seeing stories in the news about him just kind of going off on contestants, and I think he like ran up and hugged a contestant or some weird thing. He just doing odd things. But I didn't watch Pat. I didn't watch Wheel of Fortune for Pat Sajak. I didn't watch Wheel of Fortune for the letters. I watched it for the person turning the letters, baby. That's the reason I watched the Wheel of Fortune.
Vanna.
That's right. So when all this hullabaloo was going on around Pat Sajak, I was like, who the F gives a crap where that guy's going to go? What's going on with Vanna? Well, there's been an update to what's going on with Vanna White's fate on Wheel of Fortune. Well, it turns out for years that she has been getting paid significantly less than Pat Sajak. Now, I understand he's the host and he handles most of the duties and stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you. I only watched that show when I was a kid for Vanna White. She was wearing her hot-ass evening gowns. She was gorgeous. She's still beautiful, but back then in the mid-'80s, man, that was the top, man. She was. This is where my obsession with blondes began, I believe, is with Vanna White. I truly believe it's that's where it started because
first one for sure. So I can remember like that sticks out.
The only other one that I kind of remember, and this is an old reference, is Lonnie Anderson. Do you remember Lonnie Anderson? Nope. Yeah, that's an old reference, and I can't type to pull it up or I'd show her to you. But yeah, that's she's old school. She was on that show WKRP in Cincinnati. That's a really old show. So that was old when I was little. But so yeah, that's where my obsession with blondes came from. But she apparently she hired an aggressive lawyer because they were getting rid of considering just getting rid of her altogether if somebody like Ryan was going to come like an established host, and that they there were reports that Vanna hasn't had a pay increase in 18 years. That's
Does
insane.
it say there how much she's making though?
About $3 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently,
To turn some letters and walk across the stage, that's a pretty fat paycheck.
well, Pat Sajak makes 5 times as much. So, I think that was where the beef was. So they're trying to get her. She's hired an attorney, trying to get her money. She's trying to get paid. So, big up to Vanna White.
Back pay, or she got an aggressive lawyer to renegotiate her contract for moving forward.
Yes, renegotiate moving forward to try to get paid. So, because I'm sure Ryan Seacrest is going to be getting paid an outrageous amount of money to do this. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, with her having been there for 40 years, you'd think that they would, take care of Vanna at this point. I mean, like I said, she's the reason I started watching that show. My dad would be like, that was his favorite joke in the world. Vanna White would be walking and she'd have she'd be wearing a backless dress. And he'd like nudge me and be like, she's wearing that dress backwards, you know? He's such a creep.
But just think, man, that woman has made over $55 million.
Well, it's been 18 years that that they haven't renegotiated it. So if she's been making $3 million times 18 or $3 million times 18 years, that's a lot of money for, like you said, turning numbers. So, but hey, if they're going to go that far and spend all that money on Ryan Seacrest, why not keep her around? I'm trying to read and see anybody. Amanda's saying brunettes are better. Hey, as I've gotten older, you can't go wrong with with a good brunette too. But blondes, that's where my heart lies. You can't go wrong with the blondes. CYX says she brought in the viewers, which equals profits. Agreed. Totally agree. That's why they got to give her all that money. Give her the money. Pay her.
This girl I'm dating right now, I think, is the first brunette I've ever dated.
Yeah.
They've all been blondes.
What is Diz yelling fired about in there? I'm not trying to figure out what fired. Get rid of her? Fire her? Fire her? Diz asked her? Are you nuts?
Come on, Diz.
That's absolutely insane. I can't believe it. Disaster. You said some dumb things, but that might be the dumbest thing. Brittany wants to know, how do I apply to get her job? Yeah, no, I know. It'd be a great job. That would be a great job. All right. So good luck to Ryan Seacrest and Vanna White. I will definitely continue watching. Or maybe I haven't watched really. I watch it every once in a while. But when I do watch it, I'm so good at it. I would never win any money. I have a weird uncanny ability with that show. I'm able to usually figure out and B1 would be able to vouch for this. I would not win $1 on Wheel of Fortune because I would pick one letter or two and then solve the puzzle. It would be.
That's when you got to go strategy right there. That's when you just spell it all the way out, all the way through, one letter at a time. Just stack bread.
Nope, my pompous narcissism would make me want to show off how well I can solve these puzzles versus winning the game. All I would care about is showing my prowess at finding hidden words. Like a dork. So yeah, good luck to them. Do you know who Kayla Simmons is?
No, I don't know that either.
Speaking of boobs, well, she is the world's sexiest volleyball star. And she is very well known on TikTok and Instagram for all her, hot posts. Well, here
is this the one from Oregon? Where's she from? Where'd she play in college?
She went to Marshall. She went to Marshall University. She played volleyball there, and since
Freak Moss went.
That's right. That's where that's where the plane that the whole team got wiped out in a plane crash, and that team they did a movie about. So she finished volleyball, moved to LA, and started becoming a TikToker and influencer, and just basically just showing everybody this for a living. This is what she shows. This is what she does. Not a bad gig. God love her. We need more women who want to do these kind of things. I got all horned up the other day, and I was like, I'm kind of tired of just, regular old porn. So maybe I check out like a cam site. What are these cam sites like? So I loaded up, I Googled best campsites, and it popped up the ones to pick from. So I picked one of them, and it gives you all these options for like, and I'll tell you right now, I ended up not using it because as soon as I got there, I thought to myself, why would I pay money for porn? That's really dumb. It's free. So, but when I got there, it piqued my interest because I saw all these girls. You could just see like a preview of their live cam. And these girls are just, first off, not a lot of them were real attractive. I'm going to be honest with you. Second off, I wish I was a hot chick. I would be a multi-billionaire if I was a hot chick. I would be so rich if I looked even remotely like either of those girls. Or I wish I was a gay dude. Because I would be I got a DM from a guy who really wants to service a brother. So I'm a big bear to all these guys. They love me. I'm just not into it. So, but if I was, man, I'd be rich if I was into the gay OnlyFans or whatever. But these girls, they're just, and I told B1 this, that she needs to do this with her OnlyFans. I go, you clean your house and you cook, right? And she goes, yeah. I go, do you sometimes do it in your underwear? And she goes, yeah, a lot of times actually when I'll clean, I'll just do it like in bra and panties or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. You realize if you just turn your camera on, people will pay to watch you do that, right? And you don't even have to get naked. And she's like, that's not a bad idea, because that's what the majority of these girls were doing on these cams. It was just them in their house. Like one girl was just doing meal prep. The other one was just putting on makeup. The other one was cleaning her house. And they're just all half naked doing it. And there were tons of dudes interacting with them, and each one of them. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I'm like, God, these women are so lucky that they're so hot and they can pull this stuff off. If I was young, like if I was my son's age, I would just do nothing but eat right and work out and become an influencer and just try to get chicks to look at me on Instagram. Why not? It's worth a shot, dude. All right. So speaking of this Kayla Simmons or whatever, Kayla Simmons, she has a great trick, and you guys know how much I love my wine. So she posted a really great trick on Instagram that I love, and I'll try to see if I can do this because you guys know me, I got my man boobs, but I would love for the ladies in the league to see if they're well, some people might not be able to do it, but if you're able to duplicate what Kayla Simmons can do with a glass of wine, you might be my new favorite person. Check this out. Look at that. Did you guys see it? It was very quick.
It's a perfect fit.
It's look at that, right? I mean, what a great little parlor trick. Now just think about if you're a guy and you're like she's like in a assumed the position down there, and you're holding a glass of wine and you're like, well, maybe she needs a little help. What are you going to do with your wine glass? You just rest it right there. Boom, right between her boobs. Or if you're a lady and you're getting ready to do something to a guy and you got a glass of wine, and those glasses of wine, they get knocked over really easily. You got to figure out something to do with those. So the least you can do is just set that between there while you're taking care of the guy. If he wants to get a little sip of wine, he can do that too. So ladies, I encourage you guys to give this a shot. I'm going to try it myself. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of it. I couldn't. I found this literally right before we started, so I wasn't able to get my version of this shot together. I might have a shirt like that that would really accent my cleavage like that as well. So I will do my best. I'll do my. That's right. It plunges. I have a few plunging necklines to show off my man boobs. I'm not afraid to do that.